It's Real Fit Radio with B
and J.LOU.
If this is your first time listening, welcome. And if you're a returning listener, welcome back.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I don't really have one today. I mean, I know what we're doing, so it's not the typical one.
So this is not one of our regular Monday drops. This is actually going to be called a pause. And pause perfectly describes what we'll be doing. It is a interruption in speech. I really had to think long and hard about what I was feeling. And then I, of course, talked to Lou about it. And we both are in agreement with this. So we are going to take a pause. And I think that's important. Some people say you don't practice what you preach, or you don't take your own advice. And our goal with Real Fit, we say it repeatedly, is to inspire, impact, empower. And one of the ways that we do that is by what's going on, being transparent and sharing our conversations with you guys. And right now, it would not be me being genuine to just jump on the mic and act like everything is okay. Just the journey of podcasting like this and having our open conversations with you guys, it stretched me because I talk a lot, and you guys probably know that, but it's not how much you're doing. We're always about quality versus quantity, and it's like how much you say is what you're saying. I've told Lou before, wow, this is interesting, because sometimes you have to think a little more, and there is some preparation that I had to start having an idea of what have I wanted to talk about, and just having it still be organic. So with that, throughout my week, whether it's something on social media, I'm watching shows sometimes, conversations or things that happen, I'll bring all that in, and when we turn the mic on. So one of the things that I make sure I'm very intentional about is we try to stay away from trending topics. We want to make sure it's genuinely coming from us. You know, these are things that have been on my mind, or I might bring it up to Lou, or Lou may have brought it up to me in the middle of the week and we didn't discuss it. We're discussing it now. So with all that, I don't like to talk about what is trending. I'll still try to take from that. You know, if I hear something, we may discuss it in here, and when we turn the mic on, we may touch on it still, just because we're having a conversation. But right now, I feel so overwhelmed and frustrated, and I'm just over what is going on right now. There has been another shooting of a 20-year-old black male, and my frustration is just like, I don't want to sit and talk about that with you guys, but it still affects me. It frustrates me, and it's not even about what did he do, what did he not do. I really want just stuff to be equal. If you're a criminal, if you've done something wrong, arrest everybody the same. So we're going to take a pause, because I know you hear this stuff a lot, or people are just like, what was he doing? What was she doing? It's not about that. We keep seeing these killings and these things happening, and the reasoning behind it. This new thing is a taser was mistaken for a gun. Somebody goes into the wrong apartment, and it's like, where's your training? I understand stuff happens, but this is just a lot. So it's just time for a pause, to meditate, to refocus, to reset, refuel, and that's what we'll be doing until the 10th of May. We'll come back with our regular scheduled posting on Monday, May 10th. I said the other day I didn't want to talk about that, but it's just a lot. So that's what we're going to do. I have a black husband. My son is black. My daughter is. I am. And it's just heartening to keep seeing this kind of stuff. Whatever people's personal views are, I don't know the situation, bad or good. But if you look at it, I see people that have done horrible things that are not the same ethnicity as we are, and they make it to the jails. And even if I didn't want to focus on it, I don't want to make this a normal thing where it's like, oh, it's another shooting. And they show it so much, we hear it so much, it's just overwhelming. So that's what we'll be doing right now. We'll come back refreshed and ready to jump right back in it and bring you the content that we have set out to bring. So hopefully you guys are well, and maybe you need to pause for different things that are going on in your life. Take the time to meditate, refocus, refuel, reset. We talk about all that kind of stuff, mental health, and that's what's happening right now. So we will be back at that time. That's all I have to say today. And yeah.
As for myself, I really don't have many words today. Me being a man of God first, and then second, a black man. It's not like the previous ones have been any less. And I don't know how many times I have to say, or anybody for that matter, have to say how disheartening, frustrating, and how furious people are with these situations occurring over and over again. So at this point, I understand and I commend any other podcasts or any other people who are influencers, anything of that nature, who decides to continue to speak about it, using their platform for that way. But we're choosing a different direction, which is to take a step back, because we're no good to you guys if our brain is thwarted. And the ultimate goal here is to continue to impact, empower, and inspire you guys any way that we can. And this is just one of those times where we're not up to the task in that way. As far as my mental on what's going on, I'm not a person of many tears just because I've cried a lot before. And I'm not coming from a desensitized state. I'm just in a disarray in my mind. And what I would love to do is keep trying to get better and achieve not only personal goals, but just honestly, a financial success to a degree where I can assist in a powerful way outside of just me saying things. And the action that I want to put towards some things, it requires more faith, silence, and movement in that regard. But talking about it, I can't really say anything. We've had different conversations about past shootings that happened, and it just doesn't seem to get any better. And I'm not here to talk crap about anybody and their perspectives, but I don't know how else you can see some of these things that are happening and sit here and say, everybody gets killed or they don't show it on the news. Well, I'll leave you guys with this, because I get that a lot. I see it on Twitter. I see it much more on my feed because I'm on different platforms. I always see these statements, well, we get shot and gunned down the same way all the time. You have my deepest sympathies and condolences when it happens for you, but I don't see that spread it all over the news the way they do us, or all over social media, where it's a continuation of seeing it to where it's like you're trying to psychologically damage us. You said it yesterday when we was talking, PTSD. At some point, it's going to take a toll on young black men's minds of how they see things, how they move. And we're not a people of fear, we're a people of strength. But if you continue to show this type of stuff, you continue to do this to us in this manner, I can't help but to think that at some point it changes the mind. One of my favorite movies, Matrix, there was a quote in there, the mind can only take so much. So I would love for you to have a different perspective and try to understand where we're coming from when you see the frustrations on our faces, or the anger or the attitude, or you're angry. Have a little sympathy and empathy when you see someone and they don't look like they're smiling. Well, what is it to smile about when every time you look up, you see someone that looks like you, that has your shade of color on their skin, being gunned down? I actually talked to a gentleman today. He asked me, did I know anything about Watts? I told him, yeah, I'm kind of familiar with it. He was like, yeah, I'm so done with California. He divulged some information to me, letting me know that since he been out here and visited, in the last 7 days, there's been 10 shootings over there in Watts from cops, and they've been shooting them in front of children and stuff like that. And there's been no newscasting over there. Now, granted, somebody out there will be like, well, you just contradicted yourself by saying that it's not being seen or we're not being seen. Well, it still plays a psychological punch on people if it's being done in front of people. So there's a combination of both. It's being done in front of children and women, wives, daughters, sons, etc., etc. And it's no repercussion for these acts. But when you come on these social media platforms and you saying everybody has that happen to them, excuse me for being blunt here, but it's not the same. It'll never be the same. No matter how you try to slice that pie, it will never be the same. You can't tell me that your ethnicity is being gunned down the same way in the same numbers that we're being shot down. You just can't tell me that. So I'm done there. I wish everybody well, and peace and blessings.
You guys have listened to us, or for new people, we have two different thought processes on stuff, and some things we agree fully on. I just want to reiterate, because when it's like this, you can speak from frustration, disappointment, anger. And anger, I believe, is just disappointed hope. And it's stuff going on in the Asian community right now. It's just sad, period. I did want to go back when I say they didn't do anything, and I want to make sure. That's why I try to keep this short, because we're talking about this with the mics off. This is why we're not getting on. I don't want to have a whole dialogue about this. But when you hear they didn't do anything, and if your first thought is, oh no, they had a warrant, their tags were expired, they were being belligerent, they were doing this, I get all that. But when you become an officer, you know what you signed up for, and you're trained to de-escalate situations. You're trained to not first use excessive force. You're trained to go and fill the jails. That's my thoughts on it. So when you got more people not making it to the jails, when you have more people dying in traffic stops for a warrant, whatever, I'm not overlooking that. I'm not saying that, oh, they didn't do anything. What I'm saying is, I see a huge difference in a person that's stopped that's not the same color as me, that's belligerent, that maybe shot up a church. I keep seeing it, and it's crazy. How are they making it to the jails? They're able to go in courts and have a trial, what the system was designed to do. But other people that look like us are not making it. They don't have the same set of rules that should apply to everyone, no matter what color you are. And it's 2021. So, yeah, I will go into that. I'm frustrated and I'm pausing. We are pausing. In the meantime, while this pause is happening, we have over 50 episodes right now. If you haven't listened to all of them, dig into the archives, listen. There's some really good content there. If you've listened to all of them, I love a oldie but goodie. Go back, refresh yourself. Hopefully it can refuel you in a different way. I've listened to stuff before that I've already heard. I go back and I get something new from it. So hopefully those will inspire, impact, and empower you during this pause for us, and just sending out positive energy to you guys. And when we come back, we'll be refreshed and refueled with some new stuff to inspire, impact, and empower you. Until next time.